This is a wonderful wild rice pilaf. If you'd like to learn how to make this wonderful rice dish on yours, go ahead, watch this film, and you are going to find out the best tasting wild rice pilaf that you have ever had in your life. Right there. Well, hello! Welcome back to Texas Cooking Today. On this episode, we're going to be making a wild rice pilaf. This is a wonderful accompaniment to almost any meal. It's great with a steak and a potato or some green vegetables, maybe carrots with it. Either way, it's just a wonderful side dish. So come this way and let me show you how to make the most fantastic wild rice pilaf you've ever had. Now on this show we are cooking more than one type of rice, and I'm not going to be showing you anything about the other dish over there. You're going to have to watch how to make Mexican rice to see that one. But what you're going to be seeing on this one is how to make a wild rice pilaf, and this is to use brown basmati rice and this wild rice right here. You can also use a white basmati, but you're going to have to cook these in separate pots regardless, because they have different cook times. And we're going to also be using, to make this particular dish, some beef broth, garlic, shallots, lavender, tarragon, and some ground mustard seed. The flavors that we have going into this marry very well together, and it's just going to make a very rich, full-bodied side dish for any kind of hearty meal that you might have. So let's get right on to preparing this wonderful side dish. Now, before we prepare our wild rice pilaf, I want to go ahead and get these shallots taken care of. Now, as with onions and all other things like this, I like to leave that root end intact. The only thing I'm going to take off is going to be the stem end. I'm going to start by taking it off. And then I want to run my knife up the side through those outer layers. And that's just going to help me to peel these back. Okay. Now, a lot of chefs, when they're cutting these, they're going to start by making a couple of cuts sideways through the shallot, just like so. Alright, and then they're going to make some vertical cuts, just like so. And that way, when they cross-cut this, they're going to end up with just a whole bunch of nice little dice, as you can see right there. There we go. I have here right about 3/4 of a cup of chopped shallots. Now, to get started on this wild rice, this is the longest cooking rice of the two, so you can just go ahead and get it started. And I have here just slightly over 1 cup of liquid, and this is the only rice that you don't necessarily have to use a 2-to-1 ratio. You can use a little bit more liquid in this than you would in other rices, because at the end we're going to pour off any excess liquid. We're going to boil this for about an hour. So I have there my rice in my beef broth. I want to add just a small amount of salt on that. And I'm putting in there just a little bit of olive oil, about a teaspoon. Now that my heat has come up in this pan just a little bit, I'm going to put in some cooking oil here, just plain cooking oil, and I'm going to put in there about 1.5 tablespoons of oil. I'm going to pour my rice on that. Get it coated all the way. Now we are still testing on this. I'm still putting this about every minute. It's getting some nice, beautiful browning. Back here, my rice has come to a full boil. All I have to do is cover that, reduce to a low heat. I'm going to set my flame as low as I can get it, and I'm just going to let it sit there and simmer for a full hour. Now that has been on there for roughly 8 minutes now. And it's time to go ahead, and we're going to pour in our liquid. My timer beeping and talking to me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add in my shallots also. And these are going to pretty much just cook down to nothing, but they're just going to add a wonderful light flavor to this whole dish. Now, salt. We want about a teaspoon. There we go. Lavender, the same, about a teaspoon. Now in my lavender here I have a bit of some stems. I'm going to pull those out. There we go. Get that down in. That adds a light, sweet flavor to it. It's very delicate. Mustard. On that one, it's the same thing. We're looking at about 1 teaspoon is what we want right in there. Tarragon. On this one, you can have plenty of tarragon. I'm going to put in a full tablespoon, which would be 3 teaspoons. Now all I need to do, give this a bit of a stir, and the same way we did with the wild rice, we're going to bring this to a boil. As you can see, my rice has now come to a boil. I'm going to put in just a little bit of olive oil, about 1.5 teaspoons. Give it a light stir. Cover this. I'm going to reduce my heat to low and allow that to simmer. Now there is something I want to mention about cooking rice. Once you get this lid on the pot, don't lift it, don't check it, do not stir it, leave it alone. Our brown basmati has now stopped steaming. Well, it's not steaming as much. And if I pull back on the center of the rice, and I notice that there is no water in the bottom of the pot boiling, so I can go ahead and shut off the heat on this, and take my fork and just lightly fluff it. Now we'll get the rest of the ingredients mixed in. Our wild rice has been cooking for approximately 1 hour. I open this up, and there's of course still plenty of liquid down in this. And I did start with an additional amount. I had about a 1/4 cup extra, and that was done quite on purpose so that there would be plenty of it for such a long cook, because I didn't want it to all steam out. Now some of my grains are starting to split just slightly, and that's a good sign that this stuff is really softened up. Now I want to go ahead and pour this into this. However, I don't want all of that moisture being in it. So what I'm going to do is to use a strainer and the sink. So I drained off that excess liquid and pour it in here. We end up with a wonderful wild rice pilaf. There it is. Very simple wild rice pilaf. It's not hard to make this wild rice dish. But just remember, when you have rices that cook at different lengths of time, you're either going to have to put the rice one into the pot at a different time than the other, or just simply cook them in separate pots as I did. I think the way I did it's a little bit safer. Enjoy. Now this is so cool. The flavor of the lavender and the flavor of the tarragon, they just marry perfect. That mustard that's in there just sets it off. This is really delicious. Now on this one, I did not add garlic. You can add garlic if you wish. Onion powder. I used the shallot to give us that onion flavor. That is scrumptious. Pardon me. That's really good. I so enjoy a good rice dish when I'm having a nice steak or a good hearty piece of fish. So I tell you what, thank you. Thank you very much for watching this show. Thank you for watching Texas Cooking Today. And please subscribe if you haven't. And for my subscribers, thank you very much for subscribing. And you have a good day. Thank you for watching Texas Cooking Today, the show where you can get great recipes and the best techniques are taught. Please subscribe to Texas Cooking Today, where you will always find something hot and ready to eat.